Okay, thanks everybody for coming to our webinar today. We're going to talk about leads. So local search saves the day for small business. And this is a pretty exciting webinar, very timely in nature because, of course, Google has made some big changes to their look of Google Places. Not necessarily the algorithm, but the look for sure. So we are going to discuss that. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what that means and what that doesn't mean for all of us. I'm Valerie Van Boeven, and my partner is George Novison. We are recording this presentation, and we will send it out as a replay. This particular presentation is open to anyone. On Friday, we will be having a Gold members only call, and if you know what that is and if you're a Gold member, please try to be on it. We do have lots and lots of people registered, so that's awesome. Okay, so let's get started here. On the agenda, we're going to learn why local search is a new phone book, which is some basics that maybe folks on this call may have heard before, but business owners who have never heard about or are not sure about local search yet may not understand that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then I entered in this bullet, big changes this week. We're going to go over what those changes were and what that means for all of us who are internet marketers in the local search space, and for business owners and what they should know. A look at the big three in local search: Google Places, Bing Local, and Yahoo Local, putting local search to use. Local search goes beyond Yahoo, Bing, and Google Places, and develop a lead strategy using local search techniques will be our last bullet. And so I hope that all of you will stay on at the end of the webinar. And I go pretty fast through all this stuff. I like to get through the webinar, and then at the very end, I will take questions. And we do that because there are probably going to be close to, we had 220 or something people register, so we'll probably end up with about 100 people on the call, which is too many voices to unmute everybody. So the object of the game for you all is this. There's a question section on your dashboard there. As I go along, when you think of a question, go ahead and stick it in the question and type it in. Type it into your questions thing there, and we'll go through all the questions at the very end of the webinar. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. For those of you who are kind of new to this game or haven't been dealing with local search for very long, I think it's important for us to review a little bit, and that is to say that local search is the new Yellow Pages. People just don't look for information the way they used to. And one of the things I would encourage you to do if you're a small business owner or if you're someone who works with small businesses is to say this. Tell me, how much are you spending on Yellow Pages ads now? How much do you spend each and every year on Yellow Pages ads? If you had to add them all up, or maybe even White Pages, but whatever the case, add up all the numbers. Even if there are a bunch of little print directories in your local area and you haven't added all of them, add it up and tell me how much you're spending. And then tell me, sir or madam, how many calls do you get from the Yellow Pages each and every year that actually turn into clients? Are you tracking it? Do you know the answer? Some people will. Some business owners are very keen on that. They keep track of everything, and some are not, and they may not have any idea. And some will tell you that they do keep track of it, or they know that they are getting zero return on investment anymore from their Yellow Pages ads, and they really only advertise as a matter of inclusion, as to not be excluded from all of the other businesses that traditionally put an ad in the Yellow Pages. Inclusion or exclusion is not a good reason to be advertising in the Yellow Pages and print advertising these days. If it provides a return on investment that you can calculate and measure, then absolutely I would run another Yellow Pages ad if I knew I was making some money. If it's not a good return on investment, if you don't think you're getting any leads from the Yellow Pages, and some businesses inherently will always get some leads from the Yellow Pages, and some will the shift has occurred and they'll get very little from the Yellow Pages. So depending on what you think your return on investment is, I would say either keep the ad or don't keep the ad. But the reality is this. For most of us out there who deal in this, we find that our customers are not getting a good return on investment from the printed Yellow Pages anymore. So I would shift my marketing dollars to our little gold surfer there. He's not our silver surfer. He's our, I know my husband would know what that is. He's our gold surfer, and he is surfing the web, and that's where most of the money is these days, and that's where your leads are searching for answers. Your prospects are out there looking for you. So switch your marketing dollars over, especially as this fall arrives. If the new version of the Yellow Pages or White Pages or whatever it is in your area, if those contracts are coming up and the print ad side is starting to bug you about renewing, you don't have any choices after you've signed that contract really for the print side. So make sure that you make a decision early. Yellow Pages are difficult to track and have limited tracking options. Let me move my little thing. Online marketing offers extensive tracking options. Yellow Pages reach can only go so far, and if you advertise in more than one directory, it can get very expensive. Even 5 little $100 ads every year can be very expensive over time. Online marketing has an unlimited reach, and it's very cost effective. You can only change your advertising message on a yearly basis with the print version of the Yellow Pages. You can change your message online at any time, because if there are seasonal messages, deals that happen, if you have a seasonal business or something happens during the holidays, you want to make sure that you can change that ad and you can offer new discounts, coupons, and all that. And we're going to talk about that in the lead generation portion of this presentation. There are over 13 billion searches on the web every month, and that's growing. The Yellow Pages receives about 1 billion references per month and is losing more and more customers every year. So just keep that in mind as you move forward, because this is the time of year when we start having to think about next year. Okay, so we know that the next thing on our agenda is to talk about some big changes, and I want all of you on this call and anybody else who joins us to know the facts. Because at first glance, it appears that all the work that any of us have done for our clients is down the drain or didn't matter anymore. We were doing it, you know, why were we doing all the things we were doing? And the reality is citations are still important. We're going to talk about citations and reviews. And if you don't know who David Milne is, you might want to check out his blog. This is his last post, a part of his last post. I have read just about all of the the experts out there who are really well known for their local search opinion, their Google Places knowledge, their insider knowledge. I've read just about everything I could find, and I always come back to David Milne because he's not only a voice of reason, but he's also, and he's very calm about all this, he's also a very good writer and very knowledgeable in this area, and I think he sums this up well. So I'm going to quote David Milne a lot in this part of the presentation, but the reason I'm doing that is because he really does have a good handle and he says it right. You can find all the opinions that he has. You can find the same basic opinions on lots and lots of other blogs out there today. I just thought that he said it really well. So he says, the truth is we've never really known exactly which citations are counting toward a business's local prominence score. But those of us who live and breathe local search have been able to develop a sixth sense for them based on countless hours of reviewing the SERPs and results from real client engagements. And what he's talking about here is he's saying this, that even though the citations, which are the other references to your business across the internet that show up on a Google Places page, even though they've been eliminated from Google Places, they don't appear there, they still matter. So nothing that we've done has been wrong, and nothing that we have done is in vain, because they all still matter, and we should keep doing what we're doing. Another thing that he says is he's always advocated checking organic search rankings for traditional citation sources in a particular market in his conference presentations beyond just the Places pages in the 7-pack. And you all might want to take note of this, especially if you're in this business. WhiteSpark's local citation finder tool, which is always pulled from Google's organic results, is unaffected by this recent update. Okay, so what he's saying here is that what we used to do a lot of, and that's it was easy because it was frankly right there in front of your face, and it's an easy thing to do, was if you had a client that, let's say a plumber in St. Louis, you would look at all the other plumbers in St. Louis who were in the top 7 listings on Google Places on the first page of Google for the maps, and you would look at their citation sources that were inside their Google Places pages, and then we would always teach to make sure that if a plumber is getting a bunch of citations from, let's say, City Search, then you want to make sure your clients also got a listing on City Search. And that's true. That's a very good way to do this. Now that the citations are gone, how do you know what to do? So the answer there is to not just look at what's in the 7-pack, But look below the 7-pack and look onto the second page and look, because you'll still see those citations in the natural organic search engine results. They're not just in the 7-pack. If you used to see City Search as a citation, you're still going to see City Search, but it's going to be in the organic or natural results. So look below the maps and look at all the different national listing services or directory listings that are there, and know that those are a really good indicator of where citations are coming from, and you should be making sure that your clients have listings on those places as well. So there are still ways to do that, and if you look at WhiteSpark's local citation finder tool, it has not been affected, and you can still use that. Okay, third-party reviews. Let's talk about third-party reviews. Super important. And I think that one of the things that we've presented over time is called the review triage system, and that just became inherently more important than almost anything else that we've offered as far as Google Places. So we're going to do another webinar on review triage, and we're going to teach people how to do this, because I'll tell you who got hit really hard this week. Demandforce did. So I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. Google just doesn't have enough coverage to get a decent review corpus in a lot of the second tier and below markets. They need to rely on other sources, at least for now, to get a sense for consumer sentiment. So third-party reviews are still important, so don't chunk all of your clients' customers' reviews onto Google Places. You still want to use Yelp, and you still want to use City Search, and you still want to use other places throughout the Internet. So be sure to spread those out. And then he says, this is still David Milne, by the way, I'm glad to see sites like Demandforce getting nailed by this update. So they got nailed. And he says, when non-consumer brands that filter reviews on behalf of clients have a direct line to places, that's not a level playing field for anyone in the SEO space, and not helpful for consumers either. So here's the situation. If you don't know what Demandforce is, you can go to demandforce.com and look at it. For those of us who work in the local space, Demandforce is a company that had a really super tight relationship, it seemed, with Google, and they would do, they do more than just reviews. They also do appointment setting, and it's not to say that their business isn't important. It still does a good job for chiropractors and dentists and people who take appointments online. So Demandforce still plays a significant role in the lives of their clients. But on the review portion of it, they had a significant advantage over all of us who are not as big as Demandforce. So that became a problem. And now, excuse me, the playing field's been leveled a bit. So they don't have as much, for instance, since third-party reviews are not being shown on Google, it's still, it means that Demandforce reviews are not actually being shown either. They still may be important in some regards, but they really got nailed on this end. Okay, he thinks that review keywords will still be important in competitive markets. So, for instance, when a review is put on Google Places or in third-party websites, to have a couple of keywords in those reviews is really important. So in other words, to give the example of restaurants, it's food, service, atmosphere, and value. That means that Google is just dealing with how to incorporate these rankings visually for searchers. So it still is important that when you ask for a review, you ask for a review in certain ways, or you get reviews that have certain keywords in them. How was the food? How was the service? How was the atmosphere? And did you feel like you got a good value? So make sure that you're still using some keywords, review keywords, in competitive markets, and don't overstuff those reviews with keyword phrases or you're going to get nailed. They're watching everything, so just be careful, but make sure that you know what your keyword sets and your keyword phrases are. And if that's something that matters to your clients and when they do reviews, if it's the value of the service or the cost was good or the, whatever it is, make sure that you include that in your reviews if you can. Okay, so you should not change your strategy, and this is his advice to all of us. Your client's data still needs to be accurate and comprehensive on as many local search sites and data aggregators as possible. And your clients still need to be getting a ton of reviews from as many sources as possible. That has not changed, and you need to continue down these paths. You still need to encourage your client to provide great service, encourage your customers to talk about that service publicly, and where they talk about it should not be particularly important to you, although you might weigh your efforts slightly more in favor of Native Places reviews than before. So don't put all of your eggs in one basket with Google Places, having everybody do their reviews there. Spread it out a little bit, but you might want to lean a little bit in favor of Google Places. Local SEO has always been about a holistic strategy, and companies that are interested in long-term benefits from all sources of traffic for local businesses should not change that thinking. So having a very good, well-rounded strategy for your clients and for local businesses out there, make sure that you spread out the news about all the things that you have to offer and where you offer them, as far as having things on Yelp and Insider pages and City Search, and if you're a restaurant, it would be Zagat's, and there's all kinds of places that really do make sense. Have a well-rounded and a balanced process for getting good local search results. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at, that's the big update. It says to all of us that although the Google Places page, and I'm going to show you a picture of it in just a second, and although it has changed, it does not mean that we should change necessarily the way we approach local search. We should keep doing what we've been doing, and in fact maybe increase the importance of reviews and increase a little bit on the importance of having those reviews on the Google Places page. So let's talk about the big three in local search: Google Places, Bing Local, and Yahoo. All three of the major search engines have a local mapping service that allows you to create a free business listing. I think we all know that. And these can provide significant exposure and should be an absolute priority for any business. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a as to why, like for instance, why Bing is different. They'll let you fill out your information. They'll confirm this either with a phone call or a postcard. And it's not hard. You can do it yourself. So any business owner can get their own free business listings put up on the web. We all know that. It's important for you to do it. You should do it. And you should make sure that everything matches. From Google Places to Yahoo to Bing, everything should match. You should include as much information as you can, including pictures, operating hours, and all that. Now, the one thing that I would recommend that you might do a little bit differently, although operating hours should be the same and all of that stuff, categories should be as close as possible, pictures can be a little different from one to another because what we've seen is that, for instance, pictures are still very prominent on Google Places, and if you have the ability to upload 10 pictures to your Google Places page. But if you look at some of the bigger players out there, or big restaurants and that, you'll see that they may have 14 or 15 pictures. And you know why? Because Google aggregates those photos from other places across the internet if they're different. So if you have pictures, let's say you have a set of 20 stock photos about your business, you might consider putting 10 of them on Google Places, and you might put 5 different ones on Yelp, and you might put 5 different ones on Bing or Yahoo, so that when they're aggregated in, you actually have a much bigger selection than just 10 photos on your Google Places page. Categories are important. Look through the labels and use all those that best fit your business, and use keywords, but do not be spammy. And if you are continuing to keyword stuff your Google Places pages, Bing or Yahoo, you will continue to be delisted. We get a lot of questions about that, and keyword stuffing is a no, no, no. So Bing Local, this is what Bing Local looks like. We're going to take a look at all 3 of these here. I just typed in Seafood San Diego, California, and I picked the first one, which was Point Loma Seafoods. Pardon me. You can see there's a couple of photos there. There are 15 user ratings. The thing I like about Bing Local is that, at least for restaurants, they list the cuisine, the atmosphere, the price, and the neighborhood, and it lists all the credit cards they take. So for Bing, a restaurant really does a nice job of organizing the information. Nice description. There's not a whole lot different, and I don't think there's any videos here unless they're down at the bottom of the page, but it really is a nice, I like that it has it send to mobile is on there. So Bing really is a good place. And also consider that any Android phone or any phone that's not an iPhone will probably have Bing as its primary search engine already installed. Maybe not all of them, actually. I shouldn't say that. Any of the Windows versions will. Obviously, the Google Android phones are going to have Google as its primary search engine. But For those who have some of the different phones out there, Bing is probably going to be one of the search engines installed, if not the only one at first, until you get around in there and fool around with it. So you might want to make sure, you definitely want to make sure that Bing is one of the places where your listing shows up nicely. Bing Local provides listing to mobile devices that use Bing as a default search engine. Pardon me. This will allow any listing on Bing Local to be found on a smartphone as easily as it could be found on a tablet or a computer. The user can also see how their listing will be formatted on every available medium, allowing them to tailor their listing in order to put forth the most effective presentation. That's one of the advantages of Bing. And another advantage of Bing, which is a little bit different than Google Places and Yahoo, is that keywords can be ranked in order of importance and changed at any time. For instance, for seasonal offers. So let's say that maybe in the case of a seafood restaurant, maybe certain seafoods are in season, like king crab or something like that. The actual listing can be modified to take advantage of seasonal offers. And in Bing, sometimes instant verification is available, so that's also a nice feature. This is Yahoo Local. Not a whole lot different from, this is actually one of the examples that they use. This is not a whole lot different from Bing or Google. It has a little bit more information. The map's a little bit more detailed. But otherwise, this is kind of, just about the same. Uses the categories there. It has user reviews. So you can print, get directions. So not a whole lot of difference there. And this is Google Places. I'll let you check this out for just a second. Look at the Write a Review tab. Okay, so for the Google Places page, you can see that this one we did our client here for Comfort Keepers. The difference is that there used to be an entire set of details on this page, and there used to be a description there. Now the description is missing, the categories are still there, ratings are there, and the photos and videos are still there. Now if I were to scroll down a little bit, and this is a snapshot so you can't see everything, but you guys can type it in and look it up if you want, you would be able to see the reviews and some other things. But right now the most important thing on this Google Places page is write a review or upload a photo. And of course, you have to have an account to be able to do either one. So you have to have logged in. So this is not as easy as just pushing that button. If you're not logged in, you're not going to be able to write a review or upload a photo. Which uploading a photo, that seems kind of odd to me. I mean, I see the point, but anybody could upload anything weird, I guess. So and someone else mentioned that to me before. It seems odd that they're encouraging that, but there's got to be a method to this madness. So write a review is very prominent. It's actually in 2 different places. And but I did also read something today that talked about setting up a Google Places page, because if you've ever set one up, you know that a ton of information is requested that now does not show up here, like the description and like the services provided. Well, the advice from Google is this. Don't stop filling in that information. Always put your description in. Always put all the other things. The details section, always make sure you max it out. Make the listing just as good today as you would have done 4 or 5 or 6 days ago. Don't ever let that change, because they use that data behind the scenes. Even though you don't see it here anymore, they're still using the data behind the scenes. So it's really important that when you look at a page like this, even though you're not seeing everything, you definitely behind the scenes have filled in all the blanks. So keep on doing exactly what you were doing before for your Google Places page. So let's talk about making use of local search. Well, each month, online consumers perform over 3 billion local searches for nearby products and services. And local businesses know it's vital to certify, enhance, and manage their local business listings to improve visibility and connect with prospects. So if there are 3 billion local searches for nearby products and services every year, you must, as a small business owner and as someone who works in this business to help small business owners certify, enhance, and manage these local business listings. It's becoming increasingly complicated, and staying on top of these changes is crazy. It seems like something somewhere changes, somebody merges, an algorithm changes, the look of a page changes, everybody goes crazy. It's something that's going on every single day. And businesses, there'll be businesses that will rise and fall based on some of these changes. Not our businesses, but businesses that cater only to this local search and have all kinds of programs and that. So stay on top of it. Use different services and know all kinds of different ways to get your results for your client, not just one way. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, then I said in my agenda we would talk about the rest of local search. Now, beyond Yahoo, Bing, and Google, there are tons and tons and tons of sites. And if anybody wants the list, of course, we already have a list of the top, I think, 100 or more sites, I think. We have a list for U.S. and for UK. I do not have a list for Australia, but I'm sure somebody out there probably has. And these aren't hard to find. You can definitely dial it, just type in a search for the top business listing sites. These are the ones that come to mind for me that we see a lot. Yelp, Insider Pages, City Search, Judy's Book, Angie's List. Angie's List I think is often overlooked. But our service providers do get a lot out of Angie's List if they're listed there. And you can have a free listing, by the way. Better Business Bureau is another one that people don't talk about much. It's not a requirement by any means, but when our clients have a Better Business Bureau listing, it absolutely shows up on their Google Places page, or it used to. So I think having Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau is still an important piece. Mojo Pages and City Squares, just a couple of the top ones. Like I said, there are tons more. There might be some specific to your area. It's definitely worth your while to use some of those products and services out there that list more of them for you. So the bottom line on local search is this. Increasingly, the world of local is cross-platform, and small and medium SMB, small and medium businesses, have no way to manage this increasingly complex mess themselves. This is so true. If you only have a listing on a few of the different platforms that are available out there, you're not nearly reaching enough of your audience. I mean, this is stuff that we do every month for each client over and over again. We go in and we build citations and we look at the reviews, and it takes a lot of work. We even have one person on our staff that's kind of dedicated to some of this. I mean, this is all she does every day is look at how she can increase people's scores. So definitely something that small and medium-sized businesses should outsource to someone who knows what they're doing. Okay, this is my favorite part, and it's one of the most complicated, I guess, and tricky pieces of the whole kit and caboodle here. And this is all about lead generation, because this is what makes us or breaks us in the internet marketing world. Hold on one second. Why is it that when I start to talk, I start to cough? I've been talking all day. Okay, so your website should be the hub of all your lead generation efforts. So when you're filling out and you're doing all these business listings and directory listings, and maybe you're an AdWords advertiser, or maybe, and I know everybody on this call is wondering if I'm going to mention it, you've used AdWords Express. Yes, the new product from Google, which is actually the same as Google Boost. It's just renamed, but it's really nice because you can actually set a little budget. And they made it really easy to engage in it, and we actually set one up for our client last night. So Google, our AdWords Express is available inside of Google Places. But if you're doing an AdWords campaign, you can also do AdWords Express from inside that AdWords campaign. It's the same thing. It's just named differently for people who don't know how to use AdWords on Google Places pages. So AdWords Express, it's the same thing as adding extensions onto your ads in Google AdWords. No difference, just called something different. They just, I don't know. I'm going to take a risk, throw it out there, and they just kind of dumb it down for Google Places a little bit. I think that's really the crux of the issue. But actually, it makes it a lot easier to understand that way. So, okay, so back to this. Your website should be the hub of all your lead generation efforts. So no matter what kind of advertising you're doing, no matter what kind of internet marketing you're doing, you have to make sure the website is correct before all else. Because what happens is if your website sucks, then the post-click marketing will fail. And what I mean by that is that post-click marketing is that when somebody clicks on your listing organically, or your Google Maps listing, or your Yahoo, or your Bing listing, or anywhere else that they might find you on the internet, once they click on your website, if they don't see what they want right away or what meets their needs or an easy way to get a hold of you, they're gone. So your post-click marketing has to work just as well as your click marketing. So that's something that I think is the trickiest part of all this, is to understand the mindset of the consumer and what they really need. And some companies have spent enormous amounts of time and energy and money figuring this out. And the best thing that all of us can do is copy off of them, because they obviously have had some success with online marketing. So we should be looking at what they're doing and generating websites that are attractive and have a great lead gen quality. So before you start or continue to spend your time, money, and resources sending traffic to your website, you must be sure that your website is set up to convert those visitors into leads, or better yet, paying customers. And I guarantee you this, for all of us on here who are internet marketers, if there's any small business owners on the call, they're going to be shaking their heads up and down when I say this. They're going to be thinking, yes, yes, yes. For all of us that engage in internet marketing and local search, the bottom line for your client is this: I don't care how you do it, but I am paying you a lot of money to make my phone ring. Make my phone ring. I don't care if you dance naked in front of my office. I don't care if you have a blimp fly over or a billboard. I don't care what it is. I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars. You, sir, need to make my phone ring. And if you don't make my phone ring, our relationship as business-to-business relationship will be very short-lived, because I have to move on to something that will make my phone ring. And I'll keep searching for that forever and ever and ever. But, Mr. Social media marketing, internet marketing, local search guy, if you do make my phone ring, I'm yours for life. And that is the bottom line. There could be no easier way to describe it, is if you don't make the phone ring. And I've learned this over time. My partner has learned this. We all have learned this. We're extremely good at making our own phone ring sometimes. But you have to, as an internet marketer, make the phone ring of your client. You have to do that. It doesn't matter how you get there. They just want to attribute leads to the efforts that you're generating online. So, keeping that in mind, how in the world are you going to make their phone ring? Now, I have a bunch of examples, and I'm going to just use one of ours, but a bunch of other ones here. So one of the ways that you make the phone ring, and this is actually an example in the elder care market. It's not one that all of you engage in, or very few of you, I should say, or it may be none of you. We have a niche in the elder care market, so we do home care, assisted living, and all kinds of senior housing and all that. So one way to have a lead generating website is to make sure that the calls to action, the 2 calls to action that are extremely important, are right up front. There's no doubt about it. They're above the fold or above the scroll line, and there's no doubt, and it's compelling. So in this case, on this website, contact an Alzheimer's specialist at 1-800-331-4880 at the top. And then if you look right down below that, below the Facebook and Twitter icon, confused by assisted living options, the 5 things, watch the video, the 5 things you must know before choosing an assisted living facility. And then there's at the bottom you can see show me the video. So if people are not wanting to connect with someone by calling them, the other option that they have is to go ahead and watch the video. And the video title is compelling for somebody who's really in a pinch and in a pickle and has an adult child who is an adult child who has an aging parent who is needing some kind of assistance and probably shouldn't be living at home anymore. This is a great video they're going to definitely want to watch, because the search is on. They got to find the solution to their problem. So we're going to give them the solution right here with our video, or you can dial us up and talk to us. That's a lead generating website. Now, this is one of my very favorite websites of all time. I don't know why. I just like the colors. I like the way it looks. And this is a lead generator. Roto-Rooter is a national company, obviously, and they are no dummies. So they have invested a lot of time and energy in trying to figure out what's going to generate the most leads online. And they are not, they are so smart about this. I love this website. To me, this is an awesome lead generator. It gives you some options, and it shows everything. Almost everything here is a picture. So you have a coupon, financing available, services offered, get answers, and stay connected. And right there in the middle on that big blue line, what can you do? You can schedule a service, and it says no extra charge for nights, holidays, and weekends. Oh my goodness. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Top right-hand side, they have a phone number. To me, this is an excellent, excellent lead generating website. So if you're looking at the next template or the next, I don't know, thing that's going to really generate leads for your client, this is a look to me that would make me call them up. Okay, next one. Not bad, not as good as Roto-Rooter, but this isn't bad either. This is also, and I'm going to show you where I got all these. This is a good. They have their coupons right up front, right on the side there. Save $35 from $99 up. They have their phone number, and the pictures in the middle there. You see the MasterTech plumbing truck. That actually changes. The picture changes all the time. They have their phone numbers at the top. This is a well-done website. It's not really complicated. It's pretty simple. But to me, it's all about the discounts, the coupons, and fast same-day response. You better believe it. Those kinds of things make a difference. And the credit card, little credit card signs there, to me that makes a difference too. So this is a good one. This is a bad one. This is a bad one. This is not a good website because, and this guy, okay, I live in St. Louis, so I use some St. Louis examples here today, and I will tell you that this guy has the theme from the Andy Griffith Show playing immediately, or Andy Griffith, or whatever it is. It goes da 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 da. Oh my goodness, I cannot get off of a website like this fast enough. And this guy, if any of you live in St. Louis, please call him right now because he needs a website like you wouldn't believe. He serves the south side of our town, which is typically, well, it's a mix, but it's the South City is typically an older population. And wow, bad news here. And he'll probably tell you he gets tons of leads. This guy's in the 7-pack. This guy is in the 7-pack for St. Louis plumbers. This is a shame. What a waste of the 7-pack. Oh my goodness. All right, so there's your plumbing master. Okay. Oh, wait. I want to show you one more thing before we get to the end here. I want to go to the Internet and show you a couple of things. Okay. So let's go to... Okay. So I want to show you a couple of things about the search that I did, where I got some of these results here. So what I did was I went ahead and clicked on... I typed in Plumber St. Louis, which you can see right here. And then I went in and clicked on some of these. Now, this ad right here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is what we would call, it could be extensions or it could be Google Express, AdWords Express, or whatever they call it now, because you can put your offer in here and your phone number. There's all kinds of things you can do. This is also an example right here where this blue A is. This is an example of either AdWords Express, which actually is probably a Google AdWords ad, and it's got the extensions in it, which you can add at any time. It doesn't cost you anymore, but they added their extension in there, which is fine. Here's Roto-Rooter. You can tell I clicked on that. Love their website. Plumber St. Louis Plumber. Now we get into the map section. A couple of interesting things that showed up. Look at this bee right here. You see how the bee is a circle instead of a teardrop? That's weird to me. That hasn't happened before. So we have Maplewood Plumbing taking the A, and look at this. They're still showing citations from, they haven't gotten to everybody yet, because they're still showing citations in the review section from on this one. So they haven't gotten all the way through. This B looks different for some reason. There's got to be a rationale for the B being a circle. If you click on it, it's right now plumbing. I don't see anything interesting there. I do see a review, which isn't really a great review, and I do see some offers here, which is awesome. And I do see that they have a description here. I don't know why they have a circle instead of a teardrop, though. Plumbing Masters, this is the one. Look at this. They have a C-level Google Places, and let's look at them. Plumbing Masters. Let's look at their website. Oh, it almost scares you if you have headphones on. Please don't be scared. This is a horrible website. And we have to make it go away. Okay, so anyway, that's Plumber St. Louis, and just some of the things. And look at this. In our top 7 here, now we are not a backwoods town. I know people on the phone probably think we are, but we're not. And look, Amtech Plumbing and Heating, they listed their Hot Frog listing as their, oh my goodness, as their website address. No, 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 no. And I can tell you that this Drain Cleaning USA, it doesn't even exist, and it had 11 reviews on its place page. This website address is gone. So anybody in St. Louis, you got an opening for some plumbing stuff here, buds. And then let's look at this. This is the next thing. Remember what David Milne said. He said that if you want to know where citations are being pulled from, then you need to look at the natural search engine results. Well, look at this. You can see the yellow pages. You can see super pages here. And if I go to the next page, you can there's probably some more. Look at this one. Here's Service Magic. Here's Angie's list that I had mentioned. Angie's list is pretty big here. And if you keep going, you'll find more and more of the citations that are out. eLocal Plumbers. Let's see if there's anything else major in here. I don't see anything else really. Simply Hired, but that doesn't really make any sense. So there are definitely some places where you can see that citations are being pulled from. So that's kind of my overview of what's going on. And then what I want you to do, want you all to know is this. From the current slide, don't go to Plumbing Masters, or if you do, call them and get them a new website. Okay, so I want you to, if you are someone who is a local business owner, or you are someone who is in the internet marketing world and you're looking for the step-by-step way to get everybody up to date and get their business listings up, you can go to localplaceprofits.com or call us at 888-404-1513. We do have a product that's $97 on localplaceprofits.com. You can purchase it, and it'll show you step-by-step with 22 videos how you do all the things that I just talked about. Or you can email me or George, either way, at ltcep.com, and we'll be happy to talk to you. Now's the time. We're going to take questions. So I hope you took the time to type your question in, because we're going to go for it. All right, let's get it out here. We're going down the list. Okay. Okay, I asked if everybody could hear me before I started. I'm looking for the answer to who says, oh, here it is. Dave Hester of Storage Wars. Ron Parker, you win. You win, Ron Parker. Okay, so I asked the question, who says, yep, on TV all the time. Because now our kids go around saying, yep, like little Hoosiers. So, and we're not in Indiana, so that means redneck. And Ron Parker, Dave Hester of Storage Wars. Jim Orr, you were close, but you had to have the name of the dude. I call him Dale all the time. I don't know why. Dave Hester. Oh, I love Dave Hester. He's awesome. Anyway. Okay, so now we're going to answer questions. And wait a minute, I got to go back to the person who won here for a second. Oh, where'd you go? Ron Parker. Had it right first. Ron, if you'll email me at valerie@ltcep.com, we'll set you up with an appointment. Thank you very much for answering my goofy trivia question. Okay, okay, so we're going to start down the questions, folks. And if you have one, go ahead and type it into your little questions place, and we will go down and answer as many of them as we can possibly get to here. Do you find the mini site and Traffic Geyser when you keep the Kazoo Press extension ranks as easy as WordPress? Charlie, I got to be honest with you, I don't use the Traffic Geyser mini sites for much because we do everything in WordPress and we do it on our own. If you're a Traffic Geyser user, that doesn't mean that it won't work. It very actually does work. And I guess Mike Lemoyne would be a good example of that, although now I don't think he uses the Traffic Geyser mini sites either at this point because he's grown a little bit and he has a web designer. But there are lots of folks out there in smaller markets who use those mini sites, and they do work. I don't, because our clientele would beat us with a brick if we use those templates, because we're dealing with a very personal, very elder care is not something, it's not comparable to plumbing and painting and some of the service providers like that. It's very touchy-feely, and we have to have something kind of custom for them. So Charlie, I don't know if it does. I would think that in a small market, yes. In a big market, I would say no. I'd say if you're really, really, really in a tough competitive market, you're going to want to use probably one of the Genesis themes in WordPress for your website to get the best results. How would you answer the question regarding a Yellow Pages listing? Yellow Pages offers online service along with the print version. You know what, Dan? That's a great question. And what I have learned, here's what, yes, Yellow Pages offers an online listing along with their print version. And you're right, that absolutely they do. And any Yellow Pages salesperson will tell you that. But having talked to a few former Yellow Pages people, I would not spend my money on Yellow Pages advertising unless I already maybe had a brilliant website. Have you seen the websites that they slap up on there? They're horrible. They're horrible websites. And the old adage of don't judge a book by its cover is completely out the window in this case. You have to have a nice looking, it can be simple in nature, but it has to be professionally done. And frankly, I don't find the Yellow Pages sites to be good. Will your listings show up? In some cases, yeah, but also the expenditure that they want you to do, they're basically doing, if you do anything more than a free listing, they're basically asking you to do some AdWords stuff. And the expenditure is tremendous. Here's something else I want all of you to know, and this is really super important. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you're competing against probably, and I'm pretty sure Yellow Pages, Reach Local, Yodel, any of these ones out there, that do the whole, we'll slap a landing page up for you and do pay-per-click. Here's the deal. Know this, that Google has a deal with big players in the market. If you have more than 700 clients who are engaging in pay-per-click activity, and I'm sure there are some other parameters there. There probably has to be some level of expenditure. But if you have more than 700 clients doing that, you can cut a deal on the back end with Google AdWords to get a discount on click cost. This absolutely does happen. So when a person from, let's say, Reach Local, for instance, if you get a 23-year-old who slaps up a website for you and they're your contact person at Reach Local, they know nothing about your business except that you want more leads. They've done no research, and all they know is you want to slap up a landing page and you want to do pay-per-click. That's all they care about, and that's all they know. You decide how much per month. Let's say you go with the $600 level. They're going to charge you a $50 a month maintenance fee, and then the other $550 is going to go toward your clicks. But guess what? They have no, if this is the case with this whole discounting on the back end for AdWords, they have no incentive to optimize your listing because they want you to run through that $600 as fast as possible. Will they use the right keywords? Probably yes. But will they optimize it? Will they look at it? Will they give you the data, the analysis? Will they go back and forth with you? Will they help you understand what's going on and why you're running through the $600 every month? No way. No way. They don't care. You sign up for the $600 a month, you're going to spend $600 a month, the end. And they hope that you'll spend more. So they don't tell the consumer that, yeah, well, you know, you're paying $3.50 a click, but we actually only have to pay $2.50 a click, and we get $1 for every click that when somebody clicks on your ad. And I'm making that up. I don't know if that's the right numbers or not. But whether they get 1 cent or $1 for every click, you don't know that as a consumer. So when you're competing against a Reach Local, a Yodel, a Yellow Pages, and this has to do with pay-per-click and slapping up a landing page, just remember that person is not getting the one-on-one attention that they need and deserve when it comes to their online advertising. They are a sheep. Okay, so let me go on here without, y'all get off my, Barney on the Andy Griffith Show and Ducky on the Land Before Time. Oh, thank you, Andy Griffith, not Andy Griffin. Andy Griffith Show, yes. What does SERP mean? Milne's quote, lost the audio while Val was going over this. SERP, it's your search engine rank. So a SERP, when you're looking at your SERPs, you're looking at, for instance, if I wanted to know if my website is alzheimerscareohio.com and I wanted to know where I rank for the keyword phrase home care Columbus, Ohio, then the result, let's say it's page 3, is my SERP, is a SERP. So it's a search engine rank. It's where your website falls on the search engine pages is a SERP. How do you instruct your clients, customers to spread it out? That's a good question, Jamor. And what I would instruct them to do is, first of all, we use a review triage system so we can guarantee that they all get spread out. And what I mean by that is, and Jim's referring to probably citations, but more likely reviews. So with reviews, what we tell people is that if you're going to ask clients to give you reviews, don't send them all to your Google Places page. Send some people to Yelp. Send some people to Bing. Send some people to CitySearch. Send some people here or there. So spread it out and just make sure that you have control over your reviews, which means triaging your reviews. And when you triage your reviews, then you know where you want to send each person who gives you a good review. So we take control of that scenario, and we help our clients understand where to send each client, or to send each of their customers. A client has a cabin he rents out due to the fact that it's in a destination location. How would I set up a places page for him, just like any other? Also, can I use a monster follow-up phone numbers? Okay, well, if he has a cabin, and I do have a client who, we do some business for him, but he also has a cabin. If you want the cabin to show up, then you would have to use the address of the cabin. If you want the client to show up because you don't want the address to the cabin to be all over the place, I'm not really sure, then you would have to make sure that you're careful about how you position his website. So his website keywording and title is, in the title of his business, is probably going to be, like if he lives in Memphis, Tennessee, but he has a cabin in the Chattanooga Mountains, you're going to want to say, ChattanoogaCabinRetreat.com or something like that. And listing him in Memphis on Google Places isn't going to be very helpful. So it's something that you have to kind of discuss with your client, and it makes a difference as to whether or not he wants his cabin address listed on the internet. There are a lot of things that go into that. But you can actually beat the map sometimes and go around that and like have your listing come out above that. We have a couple of clients right now who come out, they're so well optimized that their website is listed before the maps even start. And you see that a lot. So it is possible to do that too. How do you know if you've been delisted? Do they notify you? Hi, Jana. And heck no, they don't notify you. Google doesn't do anything. They just take you down, send you an error, or they don't even send you anything. You just notice one day that you can't find your listing, and you think, I just saw this the other day. Why can't I find myself? You type in all different ways you can try to search for yourself, and there's nothing, nothing, nothing. So then sometimes, if you know where your account is, where you set up your Google Places page, you might log into it, and it'll say that your listing has been suspended, or it's under review, or blah, 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 or if you click on, it may say nothing at all, and then you click on View This Page, and it says, we do not support this location at this time. And you don't know why they've delisted you. You don't know why you're done. You're gone. You don't have any idea. But it's usually something that's against their terms of service. So no, you don't find out until you actually search. That's why having somebody manage this for you, who's responsible for making sure you're not delisted, who logs into your account every month without fail, or even every week at first, somebody who's managing your reputation and monitoring it is super important. Should we direct local searches to our own website or the redirect website that you've set up? Well, this is one of our clients. Well, Blake, it doesn't matter to us which way you do that. We know that our website that we set up is absolutely optimized for your Google Places page. So in that case, I would recommend that you do it to you send it to our website. But if you want it to go to your own primary website, you can do that too. I think ours probably is a better fit for what you're looking at. So I would have it go to the one that we put up for you, but that's completely your call. Either way, the client's going to get to you, so it doesn't really matter. The one that's a better lead generator is the one that I would pick, and I would say ours is, but you may, if you have a difference of opinion, we can always talk about that, and it's really your call at the end of the day. But the one that has the best optimization, which we know we did, and has the best call to action and lead gen opportunity. Do home-based businesses require a street address in Google Places? Yes, they do. Google Places has a word in it that makes the difference in everything, and that is the word places. You cannot use P.O. boxes. This is some basic stuff. You cannot use UPS stores. You cannot use mailboxes, etc. Google wants to only list businesses that have a place where a human being can walk into and say, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm here to take advantage of your services or your product. They want a place. So you must decide how you want to handle that. So what I would recommend to anybody who works out of their home, which I do, and I know my partner George does, and most of the internet marketers that I deal with definitely do, and a lot of the folks in home care that we deal with actually work out of their home. Some of them do still. So what I would recommend is that you decide if you are willing to list your home as a business location, which I have. I've never had a problem with that. No one's ever knocked on my door unexpectedly. Well, maybe once, but I knew who they were. And they're not, you know, when you see the triplet, we have triplets, by the way, and when you see their tricycles out front or their bikes, you know that this is a family home, and probably you shouldn't be knocking on the door. So I really never had a problem with anybody trying to come to my place of business without warning. So having said that, you have to decide on your own whether you want to list your house or not. If you don't want to list your house, then I would recommend getting a virtual office space, which is a real office in a real building and with a real location where you can really get mail, and making sure that that's the place you have listed. And not only listed on your Google Places page, but you have to list it everywhere across the internet, including your website. Everything has to match or this stuff will never, ever work. So that's my tip on that. Let's see here. Let's see. Because he has no street address, no address, I think oh, I see, okay. So I was asking, why is this a circle instead of a pin drop? And they say because he has no street address. You're right. And also, I would say that if you decide not to list, St. Louis must be backwards on the plumbers, but if you decide in a competitive market to not list your address, which is an option, then I would absolutely say that in a competitive market, you'll never be in the 7-pack if you don't list your address. If you click to, there's an option to leave it, exclude the actual address. If you're in a super competitive market, like say you're, I don't know, a sunroom installer in Phoenix, you're never going to be in the 7-pack if you don't list an address. So that's the way it is. We must be horrible here, and plumbers must not be a competitive market, or no one's taken it over. How does a biz get rated in Google 7-pack? Some folks do little and good ratings. Well, Larry, most of the time, if it's a competitive business, if you look at the listings that are on there in the top 7, a lot of them have a lot of reviews. They're maxed out. They have all kinds of stuff going on. Oftentimes, unless that business owner is really web savvy, they've hired somebody to do it for them. Why some people show up who have nothing there, who may not have may have even not even claimed their listing, is a mystery to me, except that I can say in non-competitive markets, they're just going to pick the businesses that are the closest to the location that you're searching. And sometimes that means that they're picking listings that are close to the city center or from where you're searching, but they haven't claimed their Google Places page yet, or they have done nothing to it. It just happens to be from where you're sitting when you search, or if you were to type in, for me, I typed in Plumber St. Louis. So from the city center of St. Louis is what they were looking for. If I had just typed in the word plumber, they would have, the results I would have seen would have been from the radius from my house, which is in St. Charles, Missouri, which is 15 miles in a different direction. So there's a difference in how you search. That's what makes the search engine show different results for you on Google. So having said that, if you're not in a competitive market, or if you're sitting in West Winnemucca, Nevada, and you type in a search for plumbers West Winnemucca, you're going to get West Winnemucca stuff. If you type in a search for plumbers Las Vegas or whatever next big town is near that, then you're going to get something different. So out in the middle of nowhere, you're going to get a lot of weird stuff, just like in St. Louis, apparently. How do you get rid of a duplicate listing? Well, you need to, if you can't log in and delete it, then you need to claim it and then delete it. But the real key here is that, to me, I speak about Google Places or Google as the Google monster. And if you hack him off, or her, or whoever he is, then you're done. So what I would do is I would first claim the listing and give it a day of rest. Then I would go in and delete the listing and give it a day of rest. And then I would go in and do some more work. So in other words, if you have a mess on your hands, a client has completely messed up some stuff or has duplicate listings and you weren't aware of that when you went in, which you should have been aware of that. I hope everybody does a little audit before they start down the path of the client to find out how much mess we're talking about. If you go in and you're going to make a bunch of changes, you got to let the dust settle on each big change that you make, and that's because if you keep on trying to go down a path and you think, my listing's not showing, my listing's not showing, my listing's not showing, it's because you haven't given enough time to settle. Remember, Google indexes pages. Some results are immediate, but Google goes through and indexes billions of pages all the time, and it also has to index itself. And it might take it a week or so to get back to its own pages. So you may have to give it a little time. I've seen results that I expected to show up overnight take a couple weeks to show up sometimes. And that's not anything that we did wrong. It's just because they took that long for that page to get indexed again, or whatever Google's problem was. But it's just take it one step at a time. What is the difference between a red dot and a blue dot? Angie, I can't answer that, and that means that a red dot is a natural search engine result, top 7, local place listing on the first page of Google, or any listing that's anywhere gets a red teardrop. A blue dot is one that has been paid for. So in other words, a Google AdWords campaign or a Google Ad Express that has the address of the place with a blue dot, a blue teardrop, that is because they paid to make that show up at the top. So it's the difference between paid and not paid. How much do you work on other backlinks for organic ratings? Well, Susie, we work on that all day. So we do a lot of backlinks and natural stuff. We do it with video. We do it with blog posting. We do it with article marketing. We do everything you can imagine that's natural and normal to help our clients with the kind of visibility they want. Ron Parker, you won. Yes, sirree. When I type in my keyword, the biz that I'm looking for seems to get higher and higher in Google as if Google knows that I've clicked on it before. Is that happening? Yes, Janet, it is happening. If you don't clear your cache or look at it from a different browser, you will always see, or not always, but a lot of times you're going to see anything that you've already looked at or you've already clicked on is going to show up higher and higher and higher in the rankings. They're always going to be like #1 for you. So you might want to look at, there's some things you can do like clearing your cache. You can also look at, there's some programs that you can do the search through without it, obviously being you that's doing the search, so you don't get the skewed results. So you definitely want to invest in some programs that will give you the rankings without you actually just typing in a search and getting a search result. How do you price a new Google Places client upfront portion and monthly residual? Great question. Google Places, we would do an audit on their current situation. So we want to know what kind of trouble we're looking at, basically. In a rural area, I can give you a range, I guess. On the very low end, with not any problems at all, with no duplicate listing issues, with no delisting problems, which you're going to run into all the time, I mean, like a $500 setup fee and somewhere around 120 something a month. But if somebody's it's out in the middle of nowhere in a very low competition market, but if somebody's in a highly competitive market like New York City, you would charge 4 or 5 times that probably. I mean, we would charge a ton of money for that, especially if they have problems and especially if they have it's a competitive service or a product. So it really depends. We recommend that you do an audit on your client first, find out all the information you possibly can about them, ask them the right questions, and then give them a quote, because otherwise you're going to be doing a lot of work for nothing potentially. Do you recommend that we Google Places consultants outsource the Google Places listing and monthly work? You can outsource it. It depends on who it is you're outsourcing it to and how much they understand about Google Places. I would never outsource it to somebody who didn't receive training from me or somebody else that I trusted. But yes, you can outsource that monthly work. When sending letters or postcards, do you make sure to personalize the business owner's name? What is the best way to find the owner's name? When sending letters or postcards, do you make sure to... Okay, so, and we're talking about marketing here, Cindy, and if you were going to send a postcard or a letter to a business owner to talk to them about their Google Places listing or non-existent listing, as it were, or a bad website maybe, then yes, you would try to get the owner's name if you can, or the marketing person. And the simple way to do that is to call and ask. And that's pretty much all you got to do. You might be able to buy a list from InfoUSA of some local painters, plumbers, chiropractors, or whoever it is you're targeting, and have ask for the name of the owner in that result, and you can pay to get those results. Let's see. Do you have advice on how to increase the impressions for the client after registering with Google, Bing, and Yahoo? To increase the impressions, well, first of all, Todd, they have to have all the right keywords in it in their Google Places listing if you want to increase the number of impressions, and they need to be in the top 7 for those keyword phrases. So if home care Sarasota is my keyword phrase, the only way to increase the number of impressions my client's going to get is to make sure they're in that 7-pack. So that would be my biggest advice. I don't know how else I can answer that. I'm not really sure if I'm answering the right question. Do you make Google Places position guarantees to your new clients in terms of what they can expect in terms of position and in terms of time frames? Ron, we never make a guarantee. I know some people do. We could probably almost always guarantee that for some price we'll get them somewhere. We just don't go down that road. I don't think George would like that, and I know I wouldn't, because that puts a lot of pressure on us, and it makes the client nervous. So we don't make any guarantees, but you know, we are fast and quick to be the first to celebrate when someone gets to the 7-pack who's never been there before. So it doesn't really, to me, you can guarantee it all day long, but the reality is the bigger celebration comes when you can show them the results, and if their phone's ringing. And some people totally believe in guarantees, and I'm all for that. If you want to do that, just make sure that you can deliver, because no one likes to refund tons and tons of money. Can an app be made so a restaurant icon can be easily downloaded on mobile phones so customers can check menus and specials? Well, Pete, I am absolutely sure that that app can be developed. And you know, one of the restaurants that really, and we're talking in terms of QR codes here, I am anyway, there's like, if you've ever heard of Cracker Barrel, for all of us goofy folks that live out in the country, we go to Cracker Barrel when we travel, and we take our kids to Cracker Barrel, and they love it. So when you sit down at Cracker Barrel and you look at all the junk on the table, all their little ads and all that stuff, there's actually one there with a big old QR code on it. And you know what? If you scan that QR code while you're sitting there at Cracker Barrel with your smartphone, it goes straight to their Facebook page, and you can say, howdy folks, I'm sitting here in St. Charles, Missouri with my family eating at Cracker Barrel. What a cool idea. I also saw a sign on, today we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. It was one of my kids' favorite places to go, and it's kind of a local chain. And on the door, there was a game that people could play. On the front door, there's a QR code, and if you scan it, it's a scavenger hunt. and I don't know anything about how to play it or what to do, but it is a scavenger hunt, and if you scan that code, it's some kind of game you can play with different places across the St. Charles area. So as far as an app goes, I'm not an iPhone app or an Android app builder or expert, but I know there are lots of people in internet marketing who are selling right now iPhone application stuff. So you might check it out. Just do a Google search for it. How often are you wrong after the fact in terms of delivering the position a client was expecting? I don't think we've ever been wrong, but we're going back to that guarantee. We don't guarantee anything. So I don't think we've ever been wrong about it. With the right kind of work, you can definitely get somebody to the first page of Google. There's no doubt about that. What size markets do you recommend avoiding due to their size and competition? Well, I would recommend that, I don't recommend you stay away from anything. There's opportunity everywhere. You just have to pick the right opportunities. So if I were, let's say, a house painter in New York, you know that's going to be seriously competitive. But maybe there's some things in New York that aren't that competitive. I don't know what that is, but I don't know if I would exclude anybody. It's just that if somebody's really in a competitive market, they're going to have to pay more for your services because it's going to take you a lot more hours of your time or somebody's time to get them where they want to be. So they have to pay a lot if they're in a competitive market. Do you provide your clients with detailed monthly reporting? Absolutely. In fact, we actually provide some weekly and some monthly. How does your firm prospect new clients? Well, Ron, this is your 30-minute consultation. We do search engine optimization for our own website. Our clients come to us. We don't cold call. We rarely use Google AdWords, but we do occasionally for testing and different things. Like I get a little antsy and I want to test something new. I'll use a little Google AdWords campaign to test something, but we don't ever get really serious about it. We don't spend thousands of dollars a month on Google AdWords. We've been around so long now in our niche that we show up naturally on the top for almost every keyword phrase, and that's just a function of doing all the videos and blog posting almost every day. I think I do a blog post. So there's something out there all the time for our clients, and they call us. Usually. They find our website and they inquire through our web form or they give us a call. And that's how we prospect. Where's your monthly goal in terms of new Google Places clients? Oh my, I'd like to have 50 clients a month. New clients per month, maybe 2 or 3. I'd like to get to 50. What do you use to find the SERP easily? I use Raven Tools, Market Samurai. There's a bunch of them out there. Market Samurai is probably the one we use most often, but or I use raventools.com. Raventools.com. You can get a subscription to that. We put all of our clients in there. We pay for the big subscription, and we do all of our reporting through Raven. How can you get the SERP page without it looking at every page to find it? What if it's on the 35th page? Well, Janet, you got to use something like Market Samurai that just gives you the result without you having to look for stuff. We don't like spend hours doing Google searches all the time for our clients. What we do is we use a program that does it for us, like Market Samurai would be the best, or Raven Tools. Are you concerned that Google will make radical changes to Google Places and adversely affecting your client's Google Places listing? Ron, I am not. You know what? Because we do everything the right way. We don't use black hat techniques. We do everything the way we're supposed to do it. Do you charge your clients extra for Bing and Yahoo local search? Is it worth it? No, we don't charge extra. That's part of the whole game of citations. It's part of what we do. We do not charge extra for anything like that. Regarding the cabin destination, okay, so a monster follow-up number would work, Steve K., for your cabin, but you have to make sure that the same local phone number that you choose for that cabin is the same local number that's listed on everything else about that business, everything. So when you're thinking in terms of phone numbers, folks, you cannot use toll-free numbers. I know I've said that till I beat my head into the ground, but you have to use a local number. You can use a local number that is a tracking number as long as that same phone number is everywhere. Everywhere. everywhere, on everything, every website, every listing, everything. As long as you're using it that way, then you'll be okay. If you're working with a new client and they need more reviews, they've already have an email to clients doing triage, would you have them send out an email to customer every other day as to stagger these reviews, or how do you do it? Oh, review triage is my favorite subject right now. Review triage, and this is going to be probably, let's see, I'm going to take 2 more questions and then we're done. Okay. What was it? Well, I lost my train of thought. Oh, review triage. Yeah, if you can send out, I wouldn't keep badgering people for reviews, but I would send to the whole list a couple of times and see who you can get a review from. In the review triage program, we don't send people to Google Places directly or Yelp or Bing or Yahoo. We actually send them to a website that we customize and set up on our own so that they go there, they leave the review. If it's a good review, it goes on to the next step, which is Google Places or Yelp or wherever we want it to go. And if they don't leave a good review, if they leave a negative review, then we send it to the owner of the business and have them take care of it and rectify the problem with the client if necessary. We don't get into that, and that review never sees the light of day. And the reason, and I can't go into the whole review triage thing right here, but the reason we do that is because a lot of our clients have very few reviews. We're not trying to eliminate reviews. Actually, we kind of are trying to eliminate reviews. If you're a restaurant and you have 1,000 reviews, there always are going to be bad reviews mixed in there. There's always going to be somebody who had a bad day, a bad shrimp, a bad clam, something. But if you are a plumber who has 10 reviews and 2 of them happen to be bad, you're done. That is not good. You cannot have bad reviews if you only have a couple of reviews. You better pray that they're good. So our review triage system eliminates that problem by saying to the owner, okay, let's get some reviews. The good ones are going to go on to step 2, which means they're going to make it to Google Places and Yelp and some other things. But the bad ones that come through our system are going to go to you, and you need to fix this problem because people aren't dumb. They will find out how to put it on Google Places, but you need to connect with these clients, make it right, help them out. You know, what is it? What was the problem? Maybe they didn't even know there was a problem. So those are the kinds of things we help our clients with. It's reputation management at its finest, and these are real reviews from real people. They're not made up. They're not somebody we hired from Fiverr. This is real stuff. So it's always important that you do reviews and you do them correctly. Yeah. Let's see if I have anything else here. Oh, this is a good one. If a business appears in the 7-pack without optimizing, why should they optimize? Bob, that's a great question, and I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer is this. If they don't optimize, if they don't go ahead and get it together, then everybody around them probably will, and eventually they're going to be off the top. They're going to be off the 7-pack. We move people off the 7-pack all the time. So, and people hire us to do that. I want to be in the 7-pack. Okay, we'll get you in the 7-pack. Guess what? Somebody out there is not going to be in the 7-pack anymore once our client gets there. So if they haven't optimized or done anything with their listing, they haven't claimed it, it's just sitting there for whatever reason, all the people around them, they need to take a look at that because the people around them are going to start optimizing. They're going to start hiring people to do this for them because they don't have time for it, and eventually that person, that business is going to be off the 7-pack. So the object of the game here is to start now. Even if you're in the top 7, you've never touched that Places page, get ready because you're going to get off the 7-pack if you don't do something pretty quick. Everybody around you, all of the competitors are going to start hiring people. In San Diego, you said that the description words had to match something. What was that? Oh, I don't know what I said about that, Russell. Oh, it was in terms of Google Places. What I'd say is that if you know that you're a San Diego restaurant, and you want to make sure some of your keywords are restaurant San Diego or seafood restaurant San Diego, make sure yours is a seafood restaurant in San Diego on Google Places. Make sure some of that stuff matches. Everything needs to match. Great webinar, thanks. Something like the first 5 words. How do you avoid the ISP problem with submitting reviews this way? Glenn, we don't, I haven't explained the whole review triage program, but we don't have one person sitting at the same IP address entering reviews for our clients. That's not how it works. I don't have time to go into it today because we're already over by half an hour, but I will tell you that the review triage is a beautiful process. I'd be happy to share that with anyone who wants more information on it, and I'd be happy to help you get your clients set up with their own small little website, just so that you can help them triage reviews. And we have all the emails that you send out. We have everything. So if you need that kind of assistance, just let me know. Email us, call us, go to localplaceprofits.com, call us at 888-404-1513, email me, email George, Valerie, or George at ltcep.com. Leave us some information, and we will absolutely give you some help with review triage. And so with that, I'm going to end the webinar. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, George. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. You've been a wonderful bunch. We had up to 80 people on this call today, on this webinar, and I loved it. So have a good afternoon. Have a great rest of the week, and watch for more of these because we're going to be doing lots of them. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.